be sharing.
Yes. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So I will start with the Kirtan.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yudhata Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yudhvaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Shama Sundara Radha Shama Sundara Radha Jai Radha Murlidhara Radha Murlidhara Radha Jai Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radha Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Jaya Radha Vinoda Radha Vinoda Radha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Gauranita Jaya Gaurani Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय। इस्कॉन संस्थापक श्रील प्रभुपाद महाराज, कृष्ण कृपामूर्ति श्रील प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय। जय ओम श्रीपाद ब्रह्म स्त्रोत्र सदाशिव हिज जैन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, कोटि आचार्य वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय, मायापुर नदी धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी द्वारका धाम की जय, गंगे मय मनमाय की जय, तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। All glories to assembled deities, all glories to assembled deities, all glories to assembled deities, all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gaur Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam session, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So we'll be taking from the shloka from the fourth canto, 29th chapter, and shloka number 63 to 65. So let's start with the prayers. Om Agnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं तथाति सुदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेव्यं भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So 63rd shloka, we'll set that. Mataji, you have taken 28th chapter.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
One second. Yeah, 63. Yeah, I think I said the 29th chapter, but actually it is 28th chapter, shloka 63 to 65. Hare Krishna. यथा पुरुष आत्मानाम् एकम् आदर्श चक्षुषोः द्विधाद्भूतम् अवेक्षेत तथैवान्तरम् आवयोः यथा पुरुषात्मानाम् एकम् आदर्श चक्षुषोः द्विधाद्भूत अवेक्षेत तथैवान्तरम् आवयोः यथा पुरुषात्मानाम् एकमाद्र आदर्श चक्षुषोः द्विधाद्भूतम् अवेक्षेत तथैवान्तरम् आवयोः. Synonyms, word by word meaning, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yatha, as Purushaha, the living entity, Atmanam, his body, Ekam, one, Adarsha, in a mirror, Chakshushoho, by the eyes, Dvidha Adbhutam, existing as two, Aveksheta, sees, Tatha, similarly, Eva, certainly, Antaram, difference, Avayoho, between ourselves. As a person sees the reflection of his body in a mirror to be one with himself and not different, whereas others actually see two bodies. So in our material condition in which the living being is affected and yet not affected, there is a difference between God and the living entity. Being affected by the conditioning of matter, Maya of the philosophers cannot see the difference between Supreme Lord and the living entity. When the sun is reflected in a pot of water, the sun knows that there is no difference between himself and the reflected sun in the water. Those in ignorance, however, perceive that there are many small suns reflected, in each and every pot. As far as the brilliance is concerned, there is brilliance both in the original sun and in the reflections, but the reflections are small, whereas the original sun is very large. Vaishnava philosophers conclude that the living entity is simply a small sample of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Qualitatively, God and the living entities are one, but quantitatively, the living entities are small fragments of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, devotees can read. Whoever is there in the queue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Shanti Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, from
Yes.
the beginning you are being affected or
No, Mata,
No,
can you
I
continue,
stopped at that.
Mataji?
The Supreme Lord is full, powerful, and that you can read. In the middle.
yeah, reflected, yeah, yes for yes, yeah, that all, yeah.
8th line, Mataji, the Supreme Lord.
The Supreme Lord is full. That's why.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I got it. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Lord is full, powerful, and opulent. In the previous verse, the Lord says, my dear friend, you and I are not different. This non difference refers to qualitative oneness, for it was not necessary for the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality, to remind the conditioned souls that he is not one in quantity. The self realized soul never thinks that he and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are one in every respect. Although he and Supreme Personality of Godhead are one in quality, the living entity is prone to forget his spiritual identity, whereas the Supreme Personality never forgets. This is the difference between Lipta and Alipta. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally alipta, uncontaminated by the external energy. The conditioned soul, however, being in contact with material nature, forgets his real identity. Therefore, when he sees himself in the conditioned state, he identifies himself with the body. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, there is no difference between the body and the soul. He is completely soul. He has no material body. Although the super soul, Paramatma, and the individual soul are both within the body, the super soul is devoid of designation, whereas the conditioned soul is designated by his particular type of body. The super soul is called Antaryami and he is extensive. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 13.3. Kshetra Jnanam. Kshetra Jnanam. Yeah, Jnanam. Kshetra Jnanam Chapimam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. O Sion of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. Mataji, to continue. The super soul is present in everyone's body, whereas the individual soul is conditioned in one particular type of body. The individual soul cannot understand what is taking place in another's body, but the super soul knows very well what is happening in all bodies. In other words, the super soul is always present in his full spiritual position, whereas the individual soul is prone to forget himself. Nor is the individual soul present everywhere. Generally, in his conditioned state, the individual soul cannot understand his relationship with the super soul, but sometimes when he is free from all conditional existence, he can see the real difference between the super soul and himself. When the super soul tells the conditioned souls, you and I are one and the same, it's to remind the conditioned soul of his spiritual identity as being qualitatively one. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.40, it is said that Yatho Yathol Muktha Yathol Mukhad Vishpulinkhad Dhumat Vapi Swa Sambhavat Api Atmavenabhi Athat Yathanih Prathag Ulmukhat. Fire has Mataji to continue or someone else is reading Mataji?
May I read, Mataji?
Yes,
Yeah,
Rohini Mataji, can you read Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Fire has different features. There is flame, the sparks, and the smoke. Although these are one in quality, there is still a difference between the fire, the flame, the spark, and the smoke. The living entity becomes conditioned, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is different because he does not become conditioned at any point. In the Vedas, it is stated that Atma Tatha Prithak Drishta Bhagavan Brahma Samnita. Atma is the individual soul as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the seer of everything. Although both are spirit, there is always a difference. In the Smriti, it is also said, Yathagnik Shudra Vishpulinga Vyachhuranti. Just as sparks manifest in a large fire, similarly, the small individual souls are present in the big spiritual fire. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Lord Krishna says, Matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham nacha ham teshva avasthitah. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Although all living beings are resting in him, as small fiery sparks rest on large flame, both are differently situated. Similarly, in the Vishnu Purana, it is said, एक एक देशा स्थितस्ज्ञाग्नेर ज्योत्स्ना विस्तिराणि यथा परस्य ब्रह्मण शक्तिस् तथेदम अखिलम जगत. Fire is situated in one place, but it distributes heat and light. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is distributing his energies in different ways. The living entity is but one of these energies, marginal energy. The energy and the energetic are one in one sense, but they are differently situated as energy and the energetic. Similarly, the Satchid Ananda form confirmed in Brahma Samhita Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchid Ananda Vigraha is different from that of the living entity in both his conditioned and liberated states. Only atheists consider the living entity and the personality of Godhead equal in all respects. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says, Mayavadi Bhashya Sunile Hoye Sarvanash. If one follows the instructions of Mayavadi philosophers and believes that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the individual soul are one, his understanding of real philosophy is forever doomed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, so we are in this chapter, the 28th chapter, where Puranjana gets a female body. And why? Because he was at the end of his life, he was thinking about a woman, and then that's how he could get the woman body. And then when her husband passed away, Puranjana, at that time, she also prepares to enter the sati, and then she want to leave her body. And at that time, that one Brahmana comes, actually, who is an old friend of King Puranjana. He comes to that place and then speaks to the queen. So that is the conversation we are now listening. We are reading here. And this, who is that Brahmana? Brahmana is actually the super soul, the Paramatma. So in the 52 shloka previously, the Brahmana inquired as follows: who are you? Whose wife or daughter are you? Who is the man lying here? It appears you are lamenting for this dead body. Don't you recognize me? I am your eternal friend. You may remember that many times in the past you have consulted me. So like this, the super soul is giving the information about the past, and he's questioning all these things so that she can realize. And then yeah, my dear gentle friend, both you and I are exactly like two swans. We live together in the same heart, which is just like the Manasa lake. Although we have been living together for many thousands of years, we are still far away from our original home. So like this, again, this information is being given. Realization of who is that actually, who are you as a soul? What is your position? All these things have been mentioned. Actually, you are not the daughter of Vidarbha, nor is this man Maledhwaja, your well-wishing husband, nor were you the actual husband of Puranjani. You are simply captivated in this body of 9 gates. So this is what is the our position. The soul's position is this, that we keep identifying with so many names and designations, but actually, who is a husband, who is a spouse, or a children, or a father, whatever it is, all these things are just changing at every time we take birth. All these positions will keep changing. You may be born as an American, as an Indian, all this, and then you could be speaking some languages, then again take another language. So all these things are the body is taking. And for example, the soul always wants to own. He wants three things to do. He wants to acquire things, own the things, enjoy, and then control. So this is the nature. And then for example, he keeps accumulating wealth in such a way that the same land which was in his lifetime was previously somebody else. Correct? Somebody else was owning it. Somebody else previously to that, somebody else was owning. So it as and when he acquires, the ownership is changing. The land is the same, asset is the same, but it is changing different hands. So but at the same time, still each one of them claim it is my asset, it is my property. So like this, too much, this is the our material nature, and this is our the soul's condition, that every time it keeps identifying with the body, identifying with the material things, material whatever available assets are there. It keeps identifying. So that's how he's again giving the information that sometimes you think yourself a man, sometimes a chaste woman, sometimes neutral eunuch. This is all because of the body which is created by the illusory energy. The illusory energy is my potency, and actually both of us, you and I, are pure spiritual identities. Now just try to understand this. I'm trying to explain our factual position. My dear friend, I, the super soul, and you, the individual soul, are not different in quality, for we both are spiritual. In fact, my friend, you are the qualitatively not different from me in your constitutional position. Just try to consider this subject. Those who are actually advanced scholars who are in knowledge do not find any qualitative difference between you and me. And in this sloka, we talk about, again, it talks about the same thing, distinguishing between the body and the soul. So here, Brahmana is telling, as a person sees the reflection of his body in a mirror to be one with himself and not different, whereas others actually see two bodies. So in your material condition, in which the living being is affected and yet not affected, there is a difference between God and living entity. So very clearly, the distinctions is being given about the body and the soul. And then Prabhupada starts off with the factual position of what is this, what is the actual difference between the soul and the super soul. And because in our day-to-day life, in our current Kali Yuga modern setting, we have been always thinking that we are the body. We are not having the concept of the soul at all, because neither we studied in our school, colleges, universities, and then we all took material education. And only some institutions like ISKCON and good spiritual organizations. Now we are trying to understand what is this Bhagavad Gita, what is this soul consciousness, what is the difference between the soul and the super soul. All these things we are now getting to understand. So this is the today's in this context, and relating to that, Prabhupada is telling how generally the Mayavadi philosophers, they for them Lord and the living entity is the same. Because Shankaracharya, when he appeared in the 1700 AD, that time the situation was so bad that Buddhism was prevalent, and because Buddhism was prevalent, Buddhism didn't have a concept of God. There is no worship actually, and they actually Buddha came to revive people to do meditation, because till the time in the last before Buddha appeared, in the last around 2,500 years of Kali Yuga, there was so much of himsa going on, because the Kali Yuga had started, and there was wide himsa, animal sacrifices, killing animal, intoxication, gambling. All these were widely prevalent. So Buddha came to curb that tendency. People who are animalistic wanted to bring them to the spirituality. Even if spirituality is not so easy, he wanted to at least change that, curb their killing instincts and all that, and then take to religion. Start with the God conscious. That is the beginning of the ladder. So that's how he had to state that ahimsa paramo dharma, and then he wanted to people to be more pious, not to be in the killing mode and intoxication and all that. So that was the condition, and when by doing so, he actually did not want to bring Vedas into the study of the Vedas and all that, because when people are so downtrodden, how can they study Vedas? So he had negated all that. Vedas are not required. Just do meditation and some simple processes of worship. For example, if the Buddhist temples, even if you go today, there are so many Buddhist temples, especially Singapore and the Middle East, mid Southeast Asia. There are so many Buddhist temples, and in Singapore, had gone to a few temples there, Buddhist temples, and they also have the same kind of similar worship. The Buddha statue is there, the huge Buddha statues are there, and they also light incense. They also, I have not seen the arti, but the incense is there, and offering of the fruits is there. The bell is there, like what we call the jhangte. We have a the kartal, the bigger size kartal, and then the tong actually. So this is there. This they use. So similarly, most of these practices are what we are doing, what we have as per Pancharatra Vidhi, at least the incense, flowers, prasadam, offering, nevedya, all these they're also doing. Even today they do that. But the concept is Buddha is there, and then only meditation. They don't generally, they also chant mantras actually, but yeah, chanting mantras is there. But of course, their goal is that they want to do meditation and then nirvana. Nirvana means that they just have to go in the shunyavadi. Everything is shunya. That is their. So to counter that, Shiva's incarnation, Shankaracharya had to come, and then he wanted to uplift the Vedas. He wanted to bring into light the Vedas. So like the next graduation step was there, and then he upheld Vedas. Yeah, Mataji is telling they have no onion garlic prasadam. So that is, it's the same concept. The Buddhists also, they are quite, but of course now would have changed, the situations would have changed, but at least they have the concept. And when I had gone to visit to the temple, they were offering fruits actually. And the Buddhists, they also believe in Ganesh. Ganesh as a remover of obstacles. I think somewhere it has got mixed up today. Behind the Buddha statue, there was Ganesh statue also, but it is not visible to the public. Somehow I managed to see that Ganesha was there. And they also worship Marichi.
Prabhuji, some of them, Hare Krishna, some of them, they believe in Vishnu also, Prabhuji. And then they light a lamp,
Okay.
lamp
Yeah.
of
So
Vishnu.
like that, some names are there, Marichi, some Rishi names are there. Sorry, not Marichi, Maitreya. Maitreya Muni is considered, very, I mean, he is the one who will take them to that, to do their seva. So like that. So Maitreya Muni is there. I don't know, maybe it's all mix up of our Vaishnavism and all that would have happened. But this is the, when it's Lord Ganesha means it is Shaivism. So it would have happened. But this is their culture. Even today we can see that. So when Shiva came, when Shankaracharya came, he had to say that no, Lord is there. There cannot be shunya. That's why Prabhupada's mantra, when we say
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Namaste
Paschatya
Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharane, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatarane. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Nirvishesha is typically the Mayavada philosophy, where they say there is no separate existence for Supreme Lord. And then Shunyavadi. So this all had to be removed. That's why Prabhupada came, and then he is reviving this Vaishnavism. So this Nirvana stage, or no God stage or something, everything is vacuum, had to be filled up. So that's why he upheld Vedas, and also upheld that concept of Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, that there is the Supreme Lord. Everything is one. So this in this Mayavada philosophy, they also, since most of the followers of Shankaracharya were Buddhists, they concocted their own theories, saying that everything is one. So that is how it all became the state of oneness. Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. But actually, later on, if you see Shankaracharya's philosophy, he also gave Bhajagoindam, and he also gave the real Tattva. But it did not carry much weight, and they were mainly talking about I am Narayana, you are also Narayana, because in me also Narayana is present, in you also Narayana is present. So like that, they made this oneness, everything as oneness. That is how Advaita philosophy. Dvaita means two. Advaita means it is only one. Everything is one. Everything is one. So that is how they started that philosophy, and then it just continued. And similarly, the Mayavada philosophy also says that you will get they also only talk of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and in moksha, this soul will get merged with the super soul. And for them, who is the super soul is actually the effulgence of the Lord. So the most important factor in Maya philosophy is that even Lord, Supreme Lord, is also under Maya. He is not a person. So that's why it's called impersonal. Personal philosophy is where we are considering Krishna as a supreme. All the Shastras say Krishna is a supreme, he's a person, he's a living person. But in the Mayavada philosophy, since they want to merge with the supreme effulgence of the Lord, which is actually the feature of the Lord, the Brahman feature of the Lord is actually the effulgence and the Brahmajyoti. So they merge into, they say that they are going to merge there. And because there is no personal relationship with the Lord, so there is no seva also. There will be hardly any seva. There is no glorification. There is no chanting of the names. So like this, it got completely converted. So that is how they had come to the conclusion that everything is same and we have to merge. The Atma also, at the time of leaving the body, it merges with the super soul. So Prabhupada says, when the sun is reflected in a pot of water, the sun knows that there is no difference between himself and the reflected sun in the water. Those in ignorance, so this is the underlining point, however, perceive that there are so many small suns reflected in each and every pot. So this is their argument. Because there are so many suns reflected, so it is one and the same, because they are in ignorance. And then as far as the brilliance is concerned, the brilliance both in the original sun and reflections, the reflections are small, whereas original is very large. So because it is one and the same, they consider that since the shadow is the shadow or the reflection is the same as the original, so both are same. It is very, very amateurish to say that. That's why Prabhupada mentioned those in ignorance. But what to do? That is their philosophy. They believe in that. And if you anybody, any normal person can tell that the original is the sun, which is the huge sun globe or the sun planet or sun star, and what is seen in the reflection is totally different. They cannot be the same, although it appears the same. It looks the same. It is not the same. It is very easy for anyone to make the distinction, but people in ignorance say that no, they are same. So that is how. And at that point of time, when Madhvacharya came, after Ramanujacharya came and Madhvacharya came, both of them held this concept that Lord is supreme. He is separate. He is a separate living entity, and individual souls are a separate entity. And that is how Madhvacharya proposed Dvaita concept. Dvaita is two separate things, that Paramatma and Atma concept. And he made it very clear. And he gave the same example, Madhvacharya also, that what you see sun is totally a different different object or a different thing. And what you see the reflection is totally different. At the same time, like he is the original and we are the reflection. So like that, he gave the his tattva and made it very clear. Both Ramanujacharya and Shankaracharya made it very clear that these two are separate. The duty of the superior, the lower position or the lower living entities is to serve the Supreme Lord. So that is how they held their philosophies, and we came to know about we are, that is how we are practicing. And then of course Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and made it much more clear, the philosophy. That philosophy is Achintya, Bheda, Abheda. So this whatever is seen as a reflection and whatever is seen as the sun, the original sun, is actually the same, but he gave the distinction that the qualitatively, for example, the water and the ocean, the same, the quality is the same. The particle, if you diagnose under the microscope, you see the qualities or what are the contents in a drop of water, and see the contents in the ocean, it's the same. Qualitatively, the percentage remains the same, 97% salt, or 3%, 2% hydrogen, and one molecule of oxygen, something like that. So this will remains the same. And that is how we got this concept. And then it was made very clearly that qualitatively we have the same, the Supreme Lord and the individual soul are same, that is Sachidananda Vigraha, but quantitatively we are different. He is Vibhu, I am Anu, I am an atom, and he is the large portion, like a gold mine and the gold particle. They are one and the same qualitatively, but quantitatively they are different. So this is the most important contribution by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Achinta Veda Tattva, and that is how we are practicing this. And the moment anybody forgets this concept, then he will fall into that Mayavada trap. So that's what Prabhupada is also telling, that this is the difference. Between the Lipta and Lipta is the one who is actually who is sleeping, and Alipta is the one who is actually eternally awake. So the although he and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are one in quality, the living entity is prone to forget his spiritual identity, whereas the Supreme Personality never forgets. This is the difference between Lipta and Alipta. So that has to be there. If we forget the Supreme Lord and forget his real identity, then we also see that we both are same. Lord and he is the same. Which is actually very, very wrong. It's a very fallacious statement and fallacious thinking. Although the super soul, Paramatma, and individual soul are both within the body, the super soul is devoid of designation, whereas the conditioned soul is designated by a particular type of body. The super soul is called Antaryami, is extensive. That is how we understand from the shloka. Um, where it is very clearly mentioned that we are the part and parcel of the Lord, and we are never the same. So Prabhupada gives this shloka from 13.3 where Kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. You should understand that I am the knower in all the bodies, because his super soul can read each one of our mind. He can he has all the knowledge. He is completely Abhigna, and then Swarat, completely independent and fully knowledgeable. Whereas we only have limited knowledge and then limited intelligence. So while the individual soul can forget the moment it leaves this body and takes another body, it forgets the whole previous life history. Whereas super soul is continuously he is able to remember everything, because he is eternally living, and then he is the one who can see the real difference. So that's what Prabhupada finally says, that generally in this conditioned state, the individual soul cannot understand his relationship with the super soul. But sometimes when he's free from all conditional existence, he can see the real difference between super soul and himself. When the super soul tells the conditioned souls, you and I are one and the same, it is to remind that the conditioned soul of a spiritual identity being qualitatively one. So qualitatively, it is the same, whereas quantitatively, it is different. It is like this. For example, you see a photograph and the person. So the photograph and the person, if you compare, if you see they're same actually. By looking at the photograph, you will also recollect the person. Correct. So at the same time, it is also not true that it is different. The photo is different. It is just made of paper material, and whereas the person is made of his all the pancha bhuta, right? So this is what is this similarly simultaneously one and simultaneously it is separate. So this is the philosophy which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, and then we understand it as achintya bheda abheda tattva. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada gives furthermore explanations on that from the Vishnu Purana. Yeah. So finally, Prabhupada concludes that that's why we should be very careful in not dealing with Mayavada philosophy and Mayavada understanding. So we should not listen to them, and we should not be associated with them, because their concept is totally different from our concept. We treat Krishna as a supreme Lord, as a person. They treat God as an impersonal feature of the Lord, and they also treat that Lord himself gets contaminated by the Maya. When he comes to this, when Rama and Krishna, both of them came to this material world, so they conclude that both of them were under Maya, under the three modes of nature, which is totally false. Although Krishna's role, he did a role. They all did the drama like in a drama. They did the role. They did a lila by taking a human form and came here and then did their performance, their lila. But it does not mean that they are also affected by the three modes. Ram also, same Ram's the story, if you see, it is a very, very poignant story. And then it feels, anybody reader will feel, how can the Supreme Lord be so helpless? His own wife got kidnapped and he had to struggle so much. So they think that when Lord Ram also suffered like this, so that means he is also under Maya. So which is a very, very fallacious statement. Lord did that just to just as a part of the Leela, and then it was destined. Ravana had a curse that he can be killed by none, by not by any demigod, not a god, none of them except a human, because Ravana had thought, was into so much of ahankar, and he had decided, he had come to conclusion that no human can kill him, because he thought he's so powerful. He was first of all a devotee of Shiva, and he thought that nobody can kill him, and he was having all sorts of knowledge. He was a very good warrior, everything, all the opulences he had, and he was so powerful. So he thought that no human could kill. So, but that's why Lord took the position of a human, and then he killed him. So this is the real understanding, and only that, with that we can understand. So that's why Prabhupada says, if one follows the instruction of Mayavada philosophers and believes that Supreme Personality of Godhead, individual soul, or one, his understanding of real philosophy is forever doomed. Hare Krishna. So we'll go to the next shloka. Yeah, who will read?
Krishna.
Sharmila Mataji, Hare Krishna. Can you read the shloka translation?
Sure. Hare Krishna. Evam sa manaso hamso hamsena pratiboditah swastastad vyabhicharena nashtam apa punaspratim. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this way, both swans live together in the heart. When the one swan is instructed by the other, he is situated in his constitutional position. This means he regains his original Krishna consciousness, which was lost because of his material attraction. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, purport also?
Yes, please.
Meenakshi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Here it is clearly stated, Hamso Hamsena Pratiboditaha, the individual soul and the super soul are both compared to swans, Hamsa, because they are white or uncontaminated. One swan, however, is superior and is the instructor of the other. When the inferior swan is separated from the other swan, he is attracted to material enjoyment. This is the cause of his fall down. When he hears the instructions of the other swan, he understands his real position and is again revived to his original consciousness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, comes down, Avatara, to deliver his devotees and kill the demons. He also gives his sublime instructions in the form of Bhagavad Gita. The individual soul has to understand his position by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master, because the text of Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood simply by academic qualifications. One has to learn Bhagavad Gita from the real soul. तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया पदे शक्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः. Just try to learn the truth by approaching your spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Thus, one has to select a bona fide spiritual master and become enlightened to his original consciousness. In this way, the individual soul can understand that he is always subordinate to the super soul. As soon as he declines to remain subordinate and tries to become an enjoyer, he begins his material conditioning. When he abandons this spirit of being an individual owner or enjoyer, he becomes situated in his liberated state. The word swastaha, meaning situated in one's original position, is very significant in this verse. When one gives up his unwanted attitude of superiority, he becomes situated in his original position. The word tad vyabhicharena is also significant. Mataji, can you scroll up? The word tat vyabhicharena is also significant, for it indicates that when one is separated from God due to disobedience, the real sense is lost. Again, by the grace of Krishna and Guru, he can be properly situated in his liberated position. These verses are spoken by Srila Narad Muni, and his purpose in speaking them is to revive our consciousness. Although the living entity and the super soul are one in quality, the individual soul has to pursue the instruction of the super soul. That is the state of liberation. Thank you, Mataji Hari.
Yeah, Krishna. Yeah, so now further, Lord is telling that how the two swans are living in the heart, that is the Atma and Paramatma are the same in the heart, both of them are living, but one is enjoying the fruits, another one is witnessing. Upadrushtanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. So that's it, the Paramatma is just allowing or sanctioning that individual soul and also overseeing, it's permitting and overseeing whatever the Atma is doing. Upadrushta Anumantacha. Anumanta is sanctioning. Upadrushta, he is just witnessing. As a witness, super soul is in the heart, seeing what the individual soul is doing. And at many times, the super soul also tries to tell the individual soul, please look at me, stop enjoying, come back to me, get into this bhakti yoga. All that he's trying to tell as a Chaitya Guru sitting in the heart, he's always directing the individual soul. But unfortunately, the individual soul is so adamant and he thinks that he has all the freedom, and because of the freedom is given to him, independence is given to the freedom soul, the free will is there, so the individual soul uses the free will and then gets entangled in the enjoyment process, and then he will suffer. It is like the ants. The ants want to taste the sweet. If suppose some sugar syrup or something is there, you have kept in a bowl or something, and somehow it will catch the sense, correct? It will catch the sense of that sugar is there, so the hordes of ants will come. They will come, some droplets are there, it will sit on that and it will start enjoying. It will actually it has got a limited capacity, but it keeps enjoying, and then it gets into the bowl also, because it's an ocean of sugar syrup is there, so it want to enjoy. And in the process of enjoyment, what happens actually, because first of all the sugar sweet is a sticky sticky substance, it gets caught, it gets entangled, it gets caught into that syrup, sugar syrup, and then ultimately it gets drowned into that sugar syrup, and then it loses its life. So what became as an attraction, what wanted to start as an enjoyment, and it takes so much, it consumes so much, the body becomes heavy, and then it completely gets heavy, and then it just gets merged, or it actually gets sunk into that syrup, and then it dies. So this is how typically all enjoyers, the materialistic people, do so much of enjoyment. We have seen so many people who are into enjoyment. We have heard about that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who had 40 billion he had made from his stock market, as a major stock market stock broker, who started with some very minimal money from coming from middle class family, and then he made in the stock market about 40 years back, and then he accumulated 40 billion dollars he accumulated. But what, at the end of the day, what was his problem? He was, from the last 15-20 years, he was addicted to intoxication, drinking. He was, every day he was drinking. He was thinking that money is there, I can enjoy everything, I can do it. He was so much into intoxication, and finally that became a cause of his downfall. He died because of liver cirrhosis and so many other diseases related to that. But he had all the wealth in the world, but he could not save his own body. He could not cure the illness. Nothing could be done. We have seen so many umpteen instances like this, people who get caught up, so many film people in the celebrities, so many of them succumb to this, and then they get captivated with this external forces, Maya Shakti, and then they lose. I mean, they actually are doing a suicide by doing such things. So like that, here the Lord is advising that the moment you start material enjoyment, getting too much into material enjoyment, you will suffer. Whatever is required, that has to be, because we have the senses, we have to use the senses in a very, very regulated way. And then finish the job quickly and then take to spiritual practices. Otherwise, you will get stuck in this material world. So that's why when here Prabhupada is telling the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna comes down, Avatara, to deliver his devotees and kill the demons. So what is the demons? It's not actually the people demons and all that. It is the demon is actually sitting in our heart. All the anarthas are sitting in our heart. That has to be removed. That anartha, Arishad Vargas, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all this has to be removed. So for that, Krishna comes. The demons, the physical demons attacking, that can be tolerated. But the demon sitting in our own heart, in the Kali Yuga, it is said that all our Arishad Vargas, all the demons are sitting in our heart. In the Dwapar Yuga, the demons were between, the fight was between the families. One pious family and one unpious family, impious family, or who are adharmic people and dharma people. So it is between family. And in the Treta Yuga, it is between countries like Bharat and then Sri Lanka. So it was between countries the war was raging. And in the Satyuga, it is between the planets, different planets it used to happen. But in Kali Yuga, that anartha is sitting in our heart. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to remove that anarthas from our heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The real solution, the real medicine is Harinam. If you take Harinam, you fill your heart with Harinam, purify your chitta or consciousness with Harinam. That is your real solution. Only then you can be delivered. Otherwise, you will have to suffer. So many lifetimes you have to suffer, and we can never get purified. And so, what is the procedure, or what is that you require to do? That you have to take the Guru. You have to learn from the Guru. So the Guru is actually the representative of Supreme Lord Krishna, and that is how Prabhupada tells that you accept a Guru, approach a Guru, accept a Guru. That famous shloka, Tadviti Pranipatena, Pariprashnena Savya, Upadekshanti Te Gnanam, Gnaninas Tattva Darshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service, very important seva, service to him. If not to the Guru, in today's world, Guru is very, very difficult to access. To serve the devotees of the Lord, that should be the mood. Then the self-realized soul, that is the Guru, can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So that is where Prabhupada is coming to the conclusion that yes, you have got this, you know the distinction between, you know the relationship now, the Sambandha Gnana is established. What is the Abhideya? Abhideya is what is that you need to do. The second step. Second step is follow, accept a Guru, and then serve the Guru, serve the devotees, serve the holy name. Come into this Bhakti Yoga. And then the Prayojana will come. The Prayojana is basically what is your goal? What is the result of doing this? First, understanding the Sambandha, getting the relationship, and then Abhideya, your sadhana, and then you get your result, which is actually going back to Godhead. But anyone who disobeys this, the rule of the law, the rule of the Lord's creation, and the rule of the surrender, anybody disobeys will suffer. So Prabhupada says, as soon as he declines to remain subordinate and tries to become an enjoyer, he begins his material conditioning. When he abandons this spirit of being an individual owner or enjoyer, he becomes situated in liberated state. So you have to abandon that enjoying stage. Then only you can come to the liberated. The word swastaha, meaning situated in one's original position, is very important. And what is our original position? To remain, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Diver Swarupai, Nitya Krishnera Dasa. So that should be our relationship, and that should be the mood in which we have to serve. The moment you disobey, the moment you go astray, that will lead to your downfall. So once the grace of Krishna and Guru is there, he can be situated in liberated position. So like Brahmande Brahmite, Kaun Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasada Paye, Bhakti Lata Bij, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Brahmande Brahmite, Kaun Bhagyavan Jiva, in this Brahmande, there are so many living entities, they're just wandering from so many places to places, different countries to countries, different womb to womb, taking so many births. But who is that luckiest person who just gets the mercy of Krishna and the Guru? He is the luckiest person because he is actually fulfilling his, completing this aim of life. Brahmanda Bharata. Guru Krishna Prasad, Bhakti Lata Beach, because he has taken that Bhakti Laja, that he has taken that devotional life, and the creeper of Bhakti Lata can grow, and actually it can touch the spiritual world, and then you will get a chance to serve with the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. So we'll go to the next sloka, 65. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
बहिष्मेन दद्यात्मं परोक्षे पारोक्षेण प्रदर्शितं यत्परोक्ष प्रियो देवो भगवान् विश्वभावनः. Shall I read the translation also, Mataji?
Translation also, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear King Prachinambari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the cause of all causes, is celebrated to be known indirectly. Thus, I have described the story of Puranjana to you. Actually, it is an instruction for self-realization. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Mataji. Prashanti Mataji, can you please read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are many similar stories in the Puranas for self-realization. As stated in the Vedas, Paroksha Priya Ivahi Devaha. There are many stories in the Puranas that are intended to interest ordinary men in transcendental subjects, but actually these refer to real facts. They are not to be considered stories without a transcendental purpose. Some of them refer to real historical facts. One should be interested, however, in the real purport of the story. Indirect instruction is quickly understandable for a common man. Actually, the path of Bhakti Yoga is the path of hearing directly about the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. But those who are not interested in hearing directly about the activities of the Lord, or who cannot understand them, can very effectively hear such stories and fables as this one narrated by Narada Muni. The following is a glossary of some of the important words in this chapter.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I
Adeshakari.
think, one or two you can read and we can end here. Yeah.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. The actions resulting from sinful activities. Agastya, the mind. Amatya, the governor of the senses, the mind. Arbuda, various types of Shravana and Kirtana of the Supreme Lord's name, quality, form, and so on. Ari, impediments like disease, bhoga, enjoyment. Here in this word refers to real enjoyment in spiritual life. Shall I continue, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, enough, Mataji. This is enough.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Dhanavad.
So, in this sloka, finally, the conclusion of this chapter, and the Brahmana tells Prachinbari that the Supreme Lord, who is the cause of all causes, Vishwabhavanaha, Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha, he is to be celebrated, he is to be known indirectly. And thus, I have described the story of Puranjana, actually instruction for self-realization. So, now it is concluded saying that whatever Narada told to Prachin Barhi is basically as a story form, as a fable, or it's called allegory in English, which is in Sanskrit is called I think it is Atishokti or something in Sanskrit. So like this allegory is basically not telling directly subject matter, but it refers to another kind of a story with reference to, say, for example, Hitopadesha is there. Hitopadesha is all about telling the moral stories, right? But moral stories in some of the Hitopadeshas, animals are there. Animals actually tell the story. Like, for example, the crocodile and the monkey, and you have the tortoise and the hare. So many stories are there, which actually it is as if the animals are speaking. Animals experience something, but there is a moral behind it. You should be very wise. You should not be cunning. You should not be cheating. So, like this, these morals, the purport or the essence of the story is to teach the mankind a lesson, basically for self-realization. So, similarly, Narada Muni gave this Puranjana and Puranjana story as an allegory, just to make readers understand that in the story form, you can digest it better, you can understand it better. It's actually the same thing, but it is told in the story form, and it is one reference is given to another another living entity, or as a character, and then it is given. So for example, the word Puranjana itself, we know that Pura and Anjana. Pura is the body, and Anjana is the living soul. Who is living in that Pura, in that body, is the Puranjana. And also Prabhupada explains that the enjoyer, the soul is actually the enjoyer. Who is the enjoyer is Puranjana. And then so here, as the Prabhupada says, some of them refer to real historical facts. One should be interested, however, in the real purport of the story. Indirect instruction is quickly understandable for a common man. So that is why this instruction is given. But ultimately, we have to directly, we also have to do Bhakti Yoga, which is the direct perception of the Lord by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, which Prahlada gave, the 9 angas of devotional practices, 9 types in where we can serve. We have to do that, and with that, our devotional life can be complete. So this is the ending. Of course, all these words we have seen, we have come across. That's what is being given here as a glossary, just to understand what all we learned in this story. So all these things have been just narrated here for our Prabhupada has given it just for our understanding. Hare Krishna. So in this changing of the, initially the first sloka, we saw that how the changing of the body takes place. That is a man at the time of his remembering, he remembers a woman, and then he gets a woman's body. So the similar one past incident has also happened. I'll just complete in just 5 minutes this past time, which is a real incident which happened. Prabhupada's disciple was there, and then that was in 1973. And in 1973, he left his body. There was an accident, he left his body. So this, the Prabhupada had initiated this boy, Brahmachari, and his name was Raghavdas. And Raghavdas was the name. He was supposed to have got the initiation the next day through another Prabhu, because Prabhupada was not physically there. But the initiation ceremony was done, and he was very, very strong, stout devotee. At the age of 19, in London, Edinburgh, he was there serving the Edinburgh temple, and he was attached to Sankirtan department. But unfortunately, just after the initiation day, the next day or after that, he was supposed to get the beads and all from another devotee, because Prabhupada delegated to give it. He passed away in an accident. And it so happened in 1975, there was another girl who was born, and this girl had almost the same characteristics of this Raghav Das. So this girl, she took later on initiation from Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, and she was also in London, and her parents were also, attend temple and all that. And she came across devotees, she came across Prabhupada books, and then she started attending temple. But and then in 2000 she married also. That is, in 75 she was born, in 2000 or something she married, and with a devotee. And although she married, she could not continue the married life, and then she had to leave her husband. Why? Because she had all the characteristics of a brahmachari. She could not somehow conclude a married life. And then she started realizing that, and she was also very fond of Sankirtan. And one of the Prabhus who was there in 73, Tribhuvan Nath, he was the same person who was there in when she took initiation, and she was there around 2000. And then she also was going for this Sankirtan parties, and then book distribution and all that. And later on, she realized that she was seeing in her dreams one place where it had a spiral staircase, and she was reading. I mean, she was getting some thoughts, dreams about the Harinam party, going for Sankirtan. And she also had the dream of an accident which happened a few years back, something like that. So all these gives a very clear indication that this girl was actually remembering the previous life. And it later on, when she went and researched, and when she went to that place, it was found that Edinburgh temple, which was there, had now been converted to a pub. What is a temple was now a pub. And she entered the pub, and then she saw that the same spiral staircase was there, and the same, that house from where she was seeing the meadows, that also she could relate it. And then later on, it was concluded with all the devotees saying that it is actually the same Raghav Das which has taken a form of this girl, and her name was Ratnavali Mataji. So you can Google it. We can see this very wonderful pastime where Ratnavali had become a girl. Now the moot question was, how did Raghav Das became Ratnavali? Ratnavali. So that means Raghav Das would have, at the time of his death, he would have thought of a girl. And later on, it was found that Raghav Das was very fond of one girl who was living there, an Indian family who was living in Edinburgh. And this Ratnavali Das went to that place, that Mataji's name, Dhenuvati Mataji, I think. And then that is the mother of that girl, that Indian girl, and then met, and then found out, and then later established that it is the same girl who Raghav Das had thought at the time of death. And that is how Raghav Das took another life just after 1.5 years, or less than 2 years, a woman's body. But still, she could recollect that. And then it was later on found that this Ratnavali Das features, all the body marks, where the accident had happened, the cut had happened in the abdomen, was there in her body also. What had happened for Raghav Das, and the features of the girl Satyavati, that is a girl whom Raghav Das was meditating and was attracted. And this girl Ratnavali were the same features, the eyes, the face, the color, all was face. So this is a very, very classic example of how a person who at the time of meditation, at the time of death, if he has remembered that girl, or if you remembered whoever is the person, or whatever it is, Vapi Smaran Bhavam, Tejastante Kalevaram. So they will get that same body. So this happened, and then it's a classic example. And then the Ratnavali Mataji also is still living, and then she gave this her realization of what happened, and then she had very clear the feelings that as a brahmachari, and then she remained as a brahmachari, brahmacharini later on. Brahmachari becomes brahmacharini, and then she's doing her devotional activity. Hare Krishna. So I'll conclude today's session. If anyone has any comments, doubts, they can clarify.
Hare Krishna, wonderful class, Prabhu. The last story was really heart-wrenching. It was quite, yes. So we all need to realize this, that what should be our consciousness all the time, that we do our mundane material things.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for narrating this one. Yeah,
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
yeah,
Krishna,
Padma
Prabhuji.
Mataji, you are asking a question?
No. I just want to tell something. I've
Yes,
heard about
yeah.
this story, Prabhuji, earlier, but from past bits and pieces here and there. Today I understood the entire story.
Yes.
Long ago I heard it. From my Shiksha Guru.
Yes, actually, it's a very long, pastime. So much of is there. I just narrated in brief, and later on, they also did the life regression, the past life regression, and in past life regression also, she got to know that she was the previous Raghav Das.
Oh,
yeah.
Very nice story, Prabhuji.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hari
bol. Prabhu, can we end the class with your permission?
Yes, sure.
Hare Krishna. Vancha
Vancha
Patanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Vaishnav
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Uttaranthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much. I'll end the class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.